tasty. Snacking is so fun. I really enjoy it. In fact, it's one of those things that, it's kind of relaxing and it's kind of like a little ritual. And it's interesting because many cultures throughout the history of the world has kind of ritualized the idea of snacking, whether or not it be tea time or whether or not it just be some kind of a snacking thing that you do. Snacks have been kind of ritualized. And today we are well, we live in a very convenient time. I wanted to say privileged, but I don't know necessarily if I suppose it is a privilege, but it is also very big convenience. The ability to have a snack whenever we feel like it. I mean, I can just go to the store and buy a bag of crisps and boom, there I have it. I have a crisp and I can eat it. Yummy, amazing, fantastic. Yay, eat more. I can just have crisps and chips and I can just have a chocolate bar whenever I want to. And a couple of years ago, obviously, that was not something that was available. That was not something that people could have done. And I think we're fortunate for that. We're fortunate to live in a time when snacking is so available. We're fortunate to live in a time where food is ample because for the history of the world, people have usually struggled to have enough to eat. That's why they invented farming. That's why they invented agriculture. And it's pretty amazing that we live in a time where I can just go to the shop and buy a bag of chips and just devour it. And it's not a meal. It's not something that I use to make myself full. It's just something because I'm a little bit peckish, because I feel like I want to eat it. And that's the beauty of snacks. Snacks is a nice little treat that we can eat at any time. And with that, of course, comes a lot of disadvantages, because it's a lot of calories that you take into your body. It's a lot of empty calories essentially that you're not really going to use, and your body has to do something with those calories, and it negatively affects us most of the time, which is not necessarily as great. So if you do want to snack, then of course you have to do that in a healthy lifestyle. You have to stay active and use the energy that you get from that snack. And it's a whole nightmare because I really, really like snacking. I enjoy it. It's a fun little ritual where, I can take something tasty and then dip it, and then there's a nice little sauce and and I just so enjoy it, and it's just such a nice experience. But with that experience, of course, comes the old adage that a moment on the lips turns into a lifetime on the hips, And it's not necessarily that I am too concerned about my weight. In fact, I've said this many times. I do want to lose a few kilograms, and that is just because I don't want to buy new clothing. I don't want to go to the department store and buy... First of all, searching for pants is an absolute nightmare. Good grief, it's such a freaking nightmare. Just to find the right clothes that fit my body, like the way that I want them to, and just the right style, because everything is so flashy now. When I go to the department store, especially like in the men's department, everything feels so flashy and wild, and I just want a plain t-shirt and a plain pair of pants, and that's it. And you would think that those things would be easy to find, but it's an absolute nightmare. I don't know. At least where I'm looking. I don't like going to the shops. I don't like going to the store. It's not a fun experience for me. What I do like, however, is I like to snack. And let's talk about this snack specifically. Chips. Chips are fun. French fries. I like them with a little bit of mayo. Yummy, very delicious. How do you like yours? Do you like yours maybe with a bit of ranch sauce, or maybe a Thousand Island sauce, or just plain up ketchup, as we like to call it here in South Africa, tomato sauce, which by the way is different from ketchup. It's, I think, sweeter, and I think we use more sugar inside of ours, more sugar and more maybe vinegar, but I'm not sure. Another thing about snacks also is that snacks can turn into a meal. So you don't necessarily just have to have a snack just because you're a little bit hungry, but sometimes it can turn into a meal. But that's just a random obscure thought. Maybe let's move over to this side. A lot of times people will say, you're not snacking because you're hungry, but you're snacking because you're bored. And I even saw this thing where somebody printed out a thing or written out a thing and they pasted it inside of their refrigerator saying, you're not hungry, you're bored. And maybe that's true. Maybe there's a sense of truth behind that. I do find that I eat more things, especially snacks, when I am bored. But it turns into this whole sophisticated dilemma because sometimes I'm not bored, I'm just bored. It's hard to kind of explain this feeling, but I just sometimes sit in front of my computer and just wait for something to happen, and I open YouTube and I don't really see anything that I want to watch, and then I open Steam and I don't really see anything that I want to play. Maybe I open one game and then close it again after 5 minutes because I'm like, oh no, this is so boring. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to just sit here. And then what I default to is maybe a little bit of a snack. And it is kind of evil that way because you're sitting and you're fueling yourself and you're putting more energy in your body that you're not going to use, but you're enjoying yourself. So it's a good thing, it's a bad thing, it's all of these different things mixed together, and I kind of get obsessed with it because now it's this whole thing where it turns into a moral dilemma. It turns into a dilemma whether or not I need to exercise later. And let me make this perfectly clear, I do not enjoy exercise. It's not fun. I'm trying this new thing now where I'm trying to do like 550 squats every 2 hours, and it's fine, but I don't enjoy it. It's not my favorite thing to do. But if I want to keep on snacking, if I want to keep on eating that chip, then I am unfortunately going to have to do that. And let's be completely honest, we don't snack because we need to, we snack because we want to. At least I do. It's something that I do because, again, maybe I'm bored, maybe I'm peckish, but it's born out of the height of luxury. And again, that brings me to my point, how fortunate we are to live in a time where we can just have snacks. And it's pretty wild, it's pretty insane. This whole video has been all over the place, but I think the core of it comes down to snacking is fun. I like it a lot, but it comes with consequences. Of course, there are the whole thing about e-waste, well, not e-waste, but waste in general, because everything's in a plastic container and now you need to do recycling. And the effects it has on your body because you're putting all of these chemicals. If it's like maybe potato chips, or if it is some potato chips has a ton of fat in them and a ton of like different chemicals that they put in to preserve it, and chocolate bars have a lot of sugar in them and other chemicals to preserve it. It's not necessarily good for you, and honestly I don't really know how to feel about it other than I like it, but I know it's bad for me, and I know I'm probably doing it out of boredom or out of a lack of something interesting to do, but I still want to do it, and I'm going to do it regardless, so nothing can stop me to do it, and that's just the way it is. See, this is kind of the dilemma that I have. My brain works in all of these different type of things, and I start overthinking just the small little details, and it turns into this whole problem for me, and I don't know whether or not it's the after effects of, I don't know, some kind of undiagnosed mental illness or ADHD or whatever, but it's just kind of the person who I am. I always keep on thinking about all of the repercussions, all of my actions, and that can sometimes lead me down a spiral of anxiety. And I think that's why I am such a highly strung individual. It might be why I am such a highly strung individual, because I keep on overthinking about the small things. And even though I tell myself, you need to stop, you need to not overthink these small things, I still do it regardless. I guess what it comes down to is I like snacking. Snacking is fun. And even though in this video I made it sound more complicated than it needs to be, I want you to enjoy snacking. Bleh. Shacking? What the heck? I want you to enjoy shacking. Said it again. I want you to enjoy snacking just as much as me, as long as you're doing it responsibly, as long as you're taking care of yourself, your body, your biological needs, and you're staying active. Then what's the harm? Again, this isn't advice. This is just my random thoughts on snacks. I like them. So yeah, that's it. That's the video. Thanks for watching. Bye.